Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Today we have a review. It's actually the fourth review on the channel from the House of Jinx. I'm on a roll right now with them, so we're going to continue. And I hope to smell more in the future. This is definitely one of those artisanal houses to kind of keep an eye on. And today we're going to talk about a fragrance called La Lumière d'Air. Oh my God, all the French speakers out there, just their ears just fell off when they had to hear that. La Lumière d'Air. God, the more I say it, the more terrible it sounds. But there it is, and maybe the smallest print ever. But this is a very special one because I don't think there's any reviews of this on YouTube. And to make matters worse, or better, depending on which way you kind of want to look at it, this is a city exclusive. So I've actually reviewed a city exclusive on the channel from Le Labo called Myrrh 55. You can go check that out. That was also a Shanghai exclusive. So we are on the Shanghai exclusive train here at Channel Ram. So let me just show you the color of the juice really quick. You can see I've been wearing it as my scent of the day a lot lately to get ready for this review. And so there's the juice color, beautiful dark, golden musky looking juice, which we will discuss here in a second. So I'm going to take everyone's advice and do some fresh sprays for the channel and show you. I just want to show you the sort of viscosity, if you will. It wears very oily, and many of his fragrances kind of wear this way. And I'm going to the gym after this, so they'll love me for this one. Actually, they might, because this is actually a pretty soft and gentle take on musk, if you will. So by the way, when we're done, I have a very quick review, or an unboxing. If you stick around till the end of the video, I'll do the unboxing at the end. Some people were complaining about the unboxings at the beginning. I don't know. You're never going to make everybody happy. Let me know what you prefer. Unboxing at the beginning, unboxing at the end, no unboxing. I mean, some people are like, all you're doing is taking stuff out of the box. But the unboxings at least show you guys part of what's coming my way, what's maybe coming down the pike. Also, some of the people that send the stuff like the unboxings because it gets people talking about it. Like I did the unboxing of the Perito Moreno the other day. There were multiple people that kind of commented on some of the unboxing fragrances that I took out. So, you know, I don't know. It's just one of those things. But this comes from a friend from the community, Bekhzod. So I can't wait to kind of share some of the rare and hard to find stuff that he sent me. And really to share with you guys was the way that he put it. So very, very generous of him. But today we're going to talk about La Lumière d'Air. And so unlike the Le Labo, which sort of has their own stores, if you will, you know, the Le Labo exclusives are sold at the Le Labo store. This particular fragrance is sold only through a company called Aroma Traveler, which has a sort of contract, if you will, with Jinx. They work with them hand in hand. And Aroma Traveler, I tried to find information on them online. It's very hard to find information on them. I did subscribe to their Instagram, but they're a Chinese company, and their Instagram is sort of, you know, filled with things that you would expect to find a fraghead's Instagram filled with. Parfums de Nicolai, Elake, Pine Ward, Amouage, you know, Elixir Attar, which I'd love to smell some of that guy's work one day, Ariza El Legrand, all this good stuff, right? And so you get the picture. And so they basically commissioned the story of this. This came out in 2024. And the story of this is that they commissioned Arthur Clayton Emrick, the owner and perfumer for Jinx, to create an exclusive fragrance sold only in their Shanghai store of Aroma Traveler. Kind of a cool little get up, right? So let's talk a little bit about the name. The name, even as someone who cannot speak an ounce of French, Lumière, I'm even smart enough to know, is light. And you can almost hear it from luminous, this sort of bright feeling. And it's interesting because deer musk, real deer musk, and that's what this fragrance is. It's a fragrance based around deer musk, or like an Indian Kasturi Attar type accord, okay? And real deer musk, often I've said, can sometimes play the role of a similar role to what ambergris does in a composition, meaning it shines a spotlight on the other notes, and it can actually lift them up. It's like having a superstar on your team, you know? They can actually make you play better because of just how brilliant they are. And that's what having a real musk note in a fragrance like this does. I almost feel like, in a way, his job with this fragrance was to brighten up this musk accord, to make a musk without the harsh, heavy, animalic, pissy, bloody. You know, you think about what the musk pod, or what the reason that there is this musk pod in the male deer, it's to ward off enemies, to say, I'm big and strong, smell how big my antlers are without actually feeling them, because I will screw you up if you get in my territory. Or it's to tell the female deer, look how big and strong I am because I'm ready to mate with you, right? So it's those two things. And so they kind of have this pissy, animalic quality to it. But real deer musk, one of the things that really surprises people, I think, the very first time they get a chance to smell real deer musk, and it is a true pleasure and a gift to get to smell real deer musk. I did an interview on the channel with Russian Adam, and I asked him, what are you most concerned with going away in the future? What are you most concerned with future generations not getting a chance to smell? He didn't say oud. He said, because there's a ton of plantation ouds now and stuff like that. You know, he didn't say ambergris, because ambergris is constantly washing up on the shores. Even though it may be getting more and more expensive to use the real stuff, you can still find it. He said musk. Real musk fragrances are a joy and a pleasure and an honor to get to smell, because you even go back 100 years, some of those Guerlain fragrances, some of the Caron fragrances, you know, you would think that those fragrances, Parfum d'Orsay and all this stuff, used real musk. And many, many times, even going back 100 years, they didn't. They were even using a synthetic musk substitute then. That's how rare it is. And right now, there's only one country in the world that will allow you to harvest musk from a proper deer. From a proper deer. Well, from the correct type of deer, this musk deer, Siberian musk deer. And they only give a certain amount of tags, and it's because the people who live up in Siberia live off of the deer as a whole. The musk pod is just one part of it. They live off of the whole deer, very similar to how the American Indians lived off of the buffalo back in the day. And so that's kind of the story behind why this musk is so special. But what ended up happening here is that sort of the name itself translates to the light of yesterday. The light of yesterday, which is really beautiful when you think about it, because I'm talking about this deer musk potentially going away. This is giving you this light of yesterday. And if you want kind of the 30,000 foot overview, this is another one where Arthur uses real musk beautifully. You can go check out my review of J Musk, you know, where I talked about this plush coat. The picture on the front is a woman in this very plush looking, almost mink coat, where it just seems like if you touch the fur, your hand will just sink in. It's so thick and rich and velvety and all that stuff, you know, even slightly chocolatey there. This is a little bit different, but one of the things that I noticed is some of my favorite fragrances from Arthur is I really like the way that he uses musks. And I don't know 100% where this musk came from, but I know he did tell me that in the past, some of the musks that he used were purchased from Sultan bin Qaboos's, the late Sultan of Oman, who loved fragrances. He was a hardcore fraghead. Imagine being a hardcore fraghead and having sort of the power of the state treasury of a country behind you to acquire musks and ouds and all this amazing bespoke fragrances. That's what he did with his life. So he got to live the dream. But later on, once he passed away, they sold off some of his stuff. And I know some of the rare musks made their way into Jinx fragrances, into Ensar, into Arise Ladore fragrances, stuff like that. And I don't know where this musk comes from, but I know that there is real Siberian deer musk in here. And you can smell it. I mean, almost instantly you can smell it. Musk, as I said, shines this spotlight on the rest of the fragrance. So the 30,000 foot overview, well, let me give you the note listing. So the top is bergamot, lime, and jasmine. The heart is vanilla. Sorry, this is not correct. That is not the correct note listing. Let's try this again, Ramsey. Bergamot, lime leaf, and rosewood in the top. A heart of bourbon, geranium, jasmine, and lavender with a base of deer musk, Mysore sandalwood, and Siberian musk. Real Siberian deer musk, okay? So that's the note listing. And if you want kind of the high-level overview, I will tell you that this is him taking this musk accord, removing the big, bold, animalic side that real musk fragrances can sometimes have. And it really just depends on how it's used and what types. You know, there's all these different types of real musk. But basically, if you're a fan of some of his other work, like if you're a fan of J Musk, or if you're a fan of something like Russian Adams, like here, I guess I should have been better prepared, but hang on. If you are a fan of something like this, Siberian Musk, which I've done a review on the channel. If you're a fan of J Musk, Siberian Musk, you know, these type of real musk artisanal fragrances, this is one potentially to try to get your nose on. You could have a friend pick it up for you if he's in Shanghai, or if you do traveling to China, you know, this is one that you can kind of put on your list. But basically, if you're a fan of these type of creations, Ensar EO #2, you know, stuff like that, Inverno Russo by Arise Ladore, this is one to put on the to sniff list. And, you know, like I said, you're going to have to probably do some work to get it, but it's almost worth it, because it's almost like this sort of, imagine doing like a barbershop musk fragrance, like a fresh barbershop musk, right? And the animalic bits that you get in something like Siberian musk, or the harsher pine notes here, or, you know, sort of even in J musk, you get a little bit of that funk that really hits you, you know, that underlying, almost like you're smelling the dirty parts of the deer as well. Like you're smelling the piss that went right through the musk pod. There is a part of that sometimes. And, in this fragrance, it's, all about citric, bright, fresh, invigorating. You get a lot of the bergamot in the top, a lot of the lime leaf, even now. And just to show you how oily, look, what are we, 11 minutes into the video? And look how it just stays this oily sheen. You know, that's how his fragrances really wear. And there's this strong hit of this green herbal undertone, but it's much softer than sort of the harsher, which I like the way that the pine and the musk accord is harsher in Siberian musk. If you made me pick one, I would pick Siberian musk. I like the way that Adam uses the materials a little bit, you know, they almost come at you a little bit more. Arthur is all about sort of the blending and creating something that is smooth, and it has this very vintage style to it. It smells like a fragrance that has been sitting in a bottle for 80 years, you know, and just macerating, I guess, which is the term everyone's using nowadays. Just imagine it sitting there macerating in the bottle, which I know only perfumers macerate a fragrance, but just imagine it just sitting there and soaking up the years and becoming smoother as time goes on. And so you get that herbal, green, zesty, grassy, like a grassy smell. Like imagine the deer standing on the grass and you're smelling this picture, right? And you're not just smelling the deer, okay? You're not just smelling the musk. You're smelling the grass that it's standing on. You're smelling, you know, the roots that it's eating. You're smelling the bark of the tree that it's maybe rubbing up against a little bit. And you're smelling that furry underbelly of the deer. And there's something very soft, you know, very crushed. Like imagine the grass being crushed by the hoofs of the deer, you know, and the hoof of the deer leaving the grass and the weeds and everything that is crushing with the hoof smelling a little bit different, you know? You get that. You get hoof. You get the furry underbelly. You get the flow of a stream next to the deer, you know? The stem of a flower that just feels like it was just cut by the deer whenever it took a bite of it and only ate the top half and left the bottom half just in the ground, you know? There's that feeling of it. Of being outdoors and being blended beautifully. The bergamot, the florals here are jasmine and this Bourbon geranium, which I mentioned, and they list rosewood as a note. One of the inside tips that I will tell you that Arthur told me is that he used a note called Bois de Rose, which is kind of used in compositions to give off this beautiful rosewood smell without the very exorbitant cost of real Brazilian rosewood or something like that. Maybe there is a little bit of real Brazilian rosewood as well, but he's a master at creating these accords. So you get this rosewood-like accord because of the Bois de Rose note. Hope he doesn't mind me sharing that. It's supposed to give off this fresher, almost like a more sparkling character to the fragrance. And one thing that you have to keep in mind, you always have to remember that this fragrance was made for the Asian and Chinese market, okay? So imagine a fragrance that is done in the style of these real musk fragrances, but imagine them done for the Asian markets, where that's why when I was reading, I was looking at his Castori fragrance line before I pulled this video up, by the way, and I was accidentally reading that note listing, and that's the reason I knew it was wrong. As soon as I saw vanilla, I was like, wait a minute, that can't be right, because the Asian market, they don't like things like vanilla. They don't like sweet notes. You know, they don't like heavy animalic notes and stuff like that. And so for the Asian market, he almost, imagine if you can just imagine him trying to like geoengineer this, you know, like some scientist in a lab. And he has this real Siberian deer musk, which is amazing and 3D, and it shines the spotlight on all the other notes and everything else. And just being toned down and being diluted and being made to be acceptable by the Asian market, to be to be palatable, for them to really enjoy it. And, they don't like sweet, heavy, animalic, challenging fragrances with vanilla and chocolate. And so sometimes musk can give off this chocolatey-like aspect. If you watched my review of Bortnikov's Musk Habib, we talked a little bit about that, the chocolatey aspect of the musk. Here, you don't get that at all. It's almost like the chocolatey notes were geo-engineered out by Arthur as he created this. And so it really focuses on the sort of like the fresher side of the musk, which everyone thinks all the musks are completely animalic and challenging and pissy and harsh and, all this stuff, bloody almost. Not at all. Not at all. And the other thing that's interesting is it also really depends how the musk pod was stored. Was it stored on the person's counter? Was it stored in a fridge? Was it frozen? How old is it? All of these things play a part. All of these things play a part. Did it sit in perfumer's alcohol for years? Or all of these things play a part. And so, you can definitely see the real musk that's present. But because of this sort of in the back of his mind, he knew he was creating this for the Asian market, for the Shanghai exclusive, for his, work with Aroma Traveler, right? You can really see and feel the thought and love that he put into it to remove some of those aspects that may not be as palatable to the Asian market. And so you get this huge amount of depth from this. That's really what you get. You get this musky, furry, sparkly, soft, round, and it's this unbelievable softness, which huge amounts of depth from the sandalwood, which, by the way, I reviewed a Pia Prey a couple days ago on the channel, and Arthur gave me a little personal feedback, and he said, hey, you hit every single thing perfect. The only thing that you really did not pick up on was the very soft sandalwood that I used in there. And it hit me as soon as he said it, because I just figured, oh, the ouds were softer. The cedar, Atlas cedar in there was a little bit softer. But he really has a way of using this really soft, smooth, milky, cushiony, like lemon meringue, fluffy feeling of sandalwood. It's just so, soft. And that's what you get here. You get this very soft Mysore sandalwood is what he says, and this real musk, which just takes you to a different level of, amount of depth. The real musk, the Mysore sandalwood, adds a huge amount of depth, but it's soft. That's the main thing. It's sparkly, it's round, it's soft, it has a little bit of that furriness, and it just opens up the passageway to your brain, passageways that felt that they were closed before open when you smell this. And, Jinx fragrances, you have to remember, he's all about balance. He's all about creating these kits and accords and, spice kits here and different accords and blending and learning all these different techniques. And so when you smell his work, it's not going to hit you as hard as Russian Adams will. The real musk is not going to jump out to you right away. Some of the heavier ouds are not going to slap you around, The hardcore animalics are softer, even in the stuff that's not made for the Asian market, So if you can imagine Arthur's work, but then just imagine it diluted a little bit. Now today, it was 80 degrees in Texas, February the 3rd, okay, here in Dallas-Fort Worth. It was absolutely perfect, and I wore this to work. Absolutely perfect for work, There's just something different about that feel of real deer musk in a fragrance that just takes the depth and the amount of balance in the fragrance to another level. And, the wild elegance of real deer musk is definitely here. It's present. You get, like I said, it's just imagine that DNA, but a little bit more faint, right? Not like the person is disappearing faint, but I mean, just a little bit more faint. You can tell that, in a country where they're all about tradition and being proper and all of this would fit in perfectly, absolutely perfectly in China. And I often say, real musk bring this unbelievable amount of warmth. And that's the other thing. I mean, if you can imagine being in a situation where you're wearing this, you could think of a mink, chinchilla, whatever type of crazy, fur you want to imagine wearing, and just how warm you would feel inside of that. Because the fur just naturally, it's like with some dogs can kind of pull the fur closer to their body to keep them warmer. There's that feeling of the fur coat just being like, sealed up against you. you know, the air being sucked out between you and the coat, and just having this airtight seal and the feeling of the fur right up against you. And then you look out and you see everything that the deer sees. And there's this kaleidoscope effect, you know? That's what real musk adds to it. And you can and you can just imagine this very beautiful bouquet of florals. You know, imagine like you're looking at your kitchen table. You see roses, you see jasmine, you see the geraniums. And then you go into the garden and you pick some maybe parsnips or radishes or turnips or something like that, you know? And what you do is you take them right from the root and you put them with the roots still attached, carrots, whatever, some of those rooty vegetables, right into the water with the flowers, okay? And as you're sitting there, imagine your cat jumps up on the table and you have a big furry, you know, fat cat or something. And that cat has this soft, silky fur. And when you pet it, you know, your hand almost just disappears. And when your hand disappears, your cat starts to smell like your fragrance a little bit. And it's got that furry underbelly. If you can imagine the cat jumping up on the table, you're petting the cat, you know, the hair starts getting everywhere. You got to blow it away and stuff like that. And while you're petting the cat, you realize that combination of the flowers, the furry underbelly of the cat, silky and fluffy, like that lemon meringue style sandalwood. That's the scent to me. That's the image of the scent, but done for the Asian market. Absolutely beautiful. You know, it turns powdery as sometimes you'll smell it. You'll realize that the musk feels like a much more powdery sensation. You know, softer, powdery notes come forward rather than the harsher animalic aspects of musk, which I love. My favorite type of musk that I've smelled is when it's used in a way where it gives off more of those leathery animalic undertones, you know? And Russian Adam was explaining to me one day that whether you tincture just the grains of the musk pod or the outer skin makes a big difference in how it's done, you know? And this really feels like it's the softer grains inside of the musk that have been distilled here. The chocolatiness is removed, but it's just soft. That's what you have to wrap your head around. This contrast of the natural sweetness that musk gives you, not the disgusting modern sweetness of a designer, okay, or even some of these niche fragrances that are going nowadays. Nothing like that. Nothing like the disgusting sweetness of a gross modern amberwood or anything like that. This is a soft, natural sweetness from the musk. And if you can wrap your head around that contrast, you know, between the sort of floral aspect with the brighter citrusy, more barbershop aspect, because, you know, the florals contained in here, it's a beautiful composition. And if you can just imagine mixing it with that lavender, it's almost like a barbershop musky creation where the citruses really dominate in the top, as they should, because that's the style of the fragrance he was really going for. And the deer musk gives it that depth to last, you know, the 10 plus hours. And it's beautiful, but it's soft, and it has that's just his style, you know? Many of his stuff is not going to slap you like some of the Ensars or the Aries Ladores. So that's kind of my take on it. So thank you very much. Very much appreciate, and it's an honor getting to do these reviews. You know, it's hopefully I'll get to smell more in the future, but every single bottle that I now have been sent by him has been reviewed on the channel. So we'll see if I can smell more in the future. For now, let's do this unboxing. Again, this is from Bekhzod, and I believe he is back in his home country now, so I hope he had safe travels and everything. But let me get this open, and I have no clue what's in here, by the way. This is going to be sort of a big treat. He did mention there's some really rare and hard to find stuff in here that he sent me, so I'm really excited to see what we have. It's going to be a surprise for me, just like it will be for you guys. So let's start with the first one here. So let me, as usual, he wraps these really well, which is exactly what you want. I guess I could have done some prep work, but it's the end of the video, so you guys want to hang around, watch me unbox these, we absolutely can. Let me start getting these open here. So the first one is Cabochard Parfum Gres. This is the EDT. So this is a version that I don't have. Let me show you my bottle. My bottle of Cabochard is, oh God, where is it? Here it is. So to be fair, this is one of the most beautiful bottles no one talks about with that bow. I absolutely love that. I think that's a gorgeous bottle. This is the EDT as well, but I think the distributors are different. Give me 1 second. This one's distributed by, whoops. This one's definitely older than my bottle. There's absolutely no doubt about that. You can see in the writings. Mine was distributed by Parfums Gres. I think this is maybe like a decade or so before mine. I can't remember exactly. I'll have to do some digging. If anyone knows the different years in these bottles, there's mine. And there's the one that he sent me here. And you can kind of see there's the batch code right there. 85 proof, I think, gives it away, the 85%. Mine doesn't have that. I think that means this is newer and this is older. Either way, this is a fantastic fragrance. And if you're not familiar, it was marketed towards women. I believe the original came out in the 1960s. Cabochard. 1959, the original came out. 1959. And so this is actually, I believe this was the original version in this bottle. It certainly looks to be that way if I'm looking at it correctly. And the perfumer is none other than the great Bernard Schott, who made many of my all-time favorites. He made the original Aramis from the mid-60s. He made Aramis 900 from the early 70s. Azuré from 69, which is one of my all-time favorites. And actually, this has some... You can see some bits and pieces of Azuré in Cabochard. This is aldehyde, sage, spices, tarragon, citrus fruits, and fruits with geranium, orris root, jasmine, rose, ylang-ylang, oak moss, leather. The leather is important in here. Musk, vetiver, amber, patchouli, sandalwood, tobacco, and coconut. So you bet your bottom dollar you will be hearing about this. The original Cabochard. Maybe I'll do some sort of a comparison. And this is, if you like Chypre, leather Chypres in specific, I would urge you to check out Cabochard. I was just trying to see. So I was looking, and I think, don't quote me on this, but I think this bottle with the bow here means that this is the version from 1995 where they re-engineered it, which this is also a great fragrance, I think. I really like this. But both of these are discontinued. Both of these versions are discontinued according to Parfumo. This was just the original. This is the 1995 that was marketed by Lalique Group, I think, Arts and Fragrances. But either way, we'll get to the bottom of the years, but that is an amazing gift. Thank you, my friend. We'll definitely be hearing more about Cabochard on the channel. One of the all-time greats. So that's the first one. Second one is this little bad boy. Okay. Ah, yes. Come to Papa. So I know exactly what this is, and this is actually something that I've heard a lot of folks talk about, and I just had no experience with it, although I know that it is very, very sought after. And if you look right here, you can see this is Ralph Lauren's Tuxedo cologne. So if you take a look, this is actually the original Warner release. Awesome, awesome stuff. And it's got the original sticker for 24 bucks. How cool is that? Let's look up Tuxedo here. Tuxedo. So the original, this is the cologne, came out in 1979, marketed towards women, but it's bergamot, lemon, Tarragon. I love Tarragon. Someone told me I should do it. This is not a top 10 Tarragon. I think I'm going to take them up on that. That's a great idea. Tarragon, look at that. All there is to show is the little polo symbol right there. Nothing else on the bottle. And clove, coriander. Oh, that's rich. Gardenia, jasmine, lily, narcissus, peach, and rose with amber, benzoin, labdanum, musk, oak moss, sandalwood, and vetiver. What a beautiful gift this is. Very, very generous. It's supposed to be a very earthy, woody, slightly animalic, sort of ambery, powdery fragrance. Cannot wait to get to know that. I've heard so many amazing things about the original Tuxedo by Ralph Lauren. So thank you, my friend. Very, very kind. Very generous. These are all awesome. And he told me they were going to be, so I knew this was going to be an amazing unboxing. So thank you, my friend. And then we've got a Capucci fragrance, which is a house that does not get enough love, even in the vintage circles. And this is called Capucci Yendi. And Capucci Yendi, you can tell how old this is from the 80 proof symbol, I call it right here. And then look at the distributor. Henry and Cabochard Inc. in New York. So this is Yendi, which is, this is the EDT. From 1974, this came out. It's a green Chypre, and you have to remember that green Chypres were sort of, this has actually been on my wish list for a long time. Green Chypres, whenever YSL not the BSY that they're marketing towards men now, but the original YSL Yves Saint Laurent Y for women came out in 1964, I believe. This is the discontinued Parfums de Toilette, which is awesome. This is an amazing fragrance and really set the stage. This was the opening salvo of what was to come in the 1970s, which was all about the hard green, cold green Chypres. All kinds of amazing green fragrances were Private Collection came out in the 70s, of course. Chanel number 19, one of the most amazing green galbanum fragrances you'll ever smell. And this is another one of those green Chypres. It's aldehydes, bergamot, hyacinth, peach, raspberry, clove, cyclamen, honey, iris, lily of the valley, orchid, rose, amber, cedarwood, moss, musk, sandalwood, styrax, and vanilla. Oh yeah, I mean, even the color of the juice kind of gives you an idea of what you're dealing with. And look at the cuts in the bottle. Very cool. I like these old style bottles. You can almost see, you know, the marketing going straight through the box, you know, as well, going through the bottle. Good stuff. Good stuff by Capucci. Supposed to be a green, fruity Chypre. I don't know who the perfumer is, but this has been on my wish list forever. So, Bekhzod is a mind reader. Thank you, my friend. Very, very kind of you. Cannot wait to get to know these. Heck, there's stuff he sent me from earlier that I still have been, you know, waiting to review. Just so much to review in so little time. Okay, next on the list we have another Parfum Gres. Oh, this is actually really special because I've been wanting a bottle of this forever, but it's really hard to find. It's the original Parfum Gres pour Homme. Look at that. I love the vintage fragrances. There's a price tag on here, but I can't make it out. I love the old price tags. I've got a bottle of Hugo Boss #1 that's like that. So this is 1965. Of course, discontinued. Oh, this is the deodorant spray. I wonder if the EDT is going to be in here too. Let's see. It is Christian. Nope. All right. Well, this still gives me an idea of it. But look at the look at the marketing on this, and just the style of these old deodorants. I'll definitely, this will at least give me a good profile of it. Parfum Gres Deodorant Atomizer. Very interesting. These old deodorants are really cool. I know my buddy Jonathan, 1970 is his handle, and he collects these deodorants and deodorant sprays and soaps and stuff like that. So it's funny. I almost wonder how powerful this deodorant spray will be compared to like a modern eau de toilette or something. So that's awesome. I still need to hunting down the EDT is on my, it's on my wish list. Definitely on my wish list. And then I can wear the deodorant spray with the EDT. I did that the other day with Scott McClintock. Angie very kindly sent me the aftershave. So I shaved, used the Scott McClintock aftershave, and then put the EDT on. Actually, I may do that tomorrow again too, because I have a big day tomorrow. So, and then finally, one more. And this is another really rare one. Christian Aujard. And there's the fragrance right there. I am not familiar with this, but I've heard about it. I've heard really good things, but I don't hear very many people talking about it. Oh wow, look at that bottle. Beautiful bottle. I love these old bottles from back in the day. Let me pull this up. Christian Aujard. This is the Eau de Parfum. So this came out in 85. Hell of a year, by the way. It was marketed by Dana. Parfums Christian Aujard. Okay, so this must be an original bottle even before Parfums or Dana took them over, because this just says Parfums Christian Aujard. And it's jasmine, lily of the valley, oak moss, and plum. Marketed towards women. That smells amazing from the atomizer, by the way. Absolutely amazing. So, what a generous gift, man. I hope you are well in your travels, my friend. Thank you for sharing this with me and with the community, and you'll definitely be hearing about these in future videos to come. Let me know what you think, of course, of the Jinx. I know it's a city exclusive, but I still love doing these type of videos that no one else is doing. And of course, let me know what you think of the vintage unboxing, thanks to Bekhzod. So as always, I love you guys. Cheers. Thanks for being a part of the Ram fam, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.